Today we've returned to the Rio Grande Gorge to do a little hiking. Easy hike. It's about we're on the West Rim Trail, which is a 4-mile trail round trip. We're at the end of the trail, so we're about to turn around and go back towards the trailhead in the parking lot. As you can see behind me, the gorge, and at the bottom of the gorge, the Rio Grande River. So some spectacular views from here, and you get these views at various points along this trail. It's a very easy trail, very flat. All trails tells me that I've done about 100 feet elevation change, which is really nothing at all for hiking. That's an easier hike than going up my driveway. As usual, pretty good crowd at the parking lot where you can walk across the bridge like I did the other day. But once you get out on the trail, just a couple tenths of a mile, you're by yourself. And I've had this trail almost completely to myself the entire way. You can tell from the mountains we're getting some more weather today. We had rain last night, expecting significant chance of rain tomorrow. It hasn't rained much today, at least not since sunup. Overcast, about 70 degrees, so really ideal conditions for a hike. This is a hike because it's just walking through the desert, and you can see we're just kind of surrounded by scrub. It can get pretty hot out here, I would imagine, so thankfully it's overcast and more moderate temperatures today. Good day to be out here. We'll take one more look down to the bottom of the gorge. Again, we're about 2 miles from the trailhead and the parking lot and where the bridge is. So this gorge does open up, goes on for miles, it appears. Still haven't found a trail to the bottom, at least not in this area. There are trails that go to the Rio Grande River, but they're not here at the gorge. So we'll probably explore one of those later this week. It'll probably be our last hike in the Taos area. But we're gonna head now back towards the trailhead. So this is actually a loop trail. On the way out, the trail was more like an old Jeep road, so much wider. But then I've discovered this little way back, which is more of a single track, a little more overgrown, as you can see, but is much closer to the rim, so the views are better. The only disadvantage of going this way is that it just makes me think about snakes. I have a deal with the snakes back in Kentucky. I don't really have a deal with the snakes here in New Mexico, so I'm not exactly sure what to expect. We're certainly keeping our eyes peeled. Well, I'm pleased to report that we survived that kind of single track section of the trail without seeing any snakes whatsoever. So maybe we do now have a deal with the New Mexico snakes. We appreciate that. The trail's now opened up, so now you have an opportunity to really take in more of the scenery and not be always looking for snakes at your feet. We can see the bridge now. We're about 3/4 of a mile from the trailhead, so getting closer as we get in. Some spectacular views from here of the bridge, the gorge and river below. Passed a couple of hikers within the last 5 minutes as we're getting closer to the trailhead. Before that, I don't think I had seen anyone for about an hour, so a lot of opportunity for solitude on this trail. So the bridge is to the north. You can see the mountains off to the east and the southeast. We're really kind of surrounded by mountains here in the Taos area. Nice little bridge here in honor of Carrie and Amy. Okay, 3/4 of a mile to go. We're going to finish up. Okay, we're coming up to the trailhead here, so we'll take one last look at the bridge and the gorge and the river below. Total hike, just a little over 4 miles, about 4.2, 4.3 miles. Coming in right at around an hour and a half. We took a few picture breaks. but a nice hike, very scenic views of the gorge and of the river and the bridge. About 200 feet elevation change over the whole hike, so for those of you who don't like the ups, this might be the hike for you. As usual, we have no sponsors whatsoever to thank for today's production. We did, on today's hike, use a Camelback water bladder, an Osprey backpack, the All Trails app, and Hoka Speed Goat 4 trail runners. None of those fine companies have yet signed up to sponsor our channel, but if you'd like to, get in touch with me in the comments below and we'd be happy to have your people talk to our people. One final note, we are doing a little cross promotion here, so I have revived the Instagram account. I've changed the username to On the Road with JVW, and if you give that a few days, we'll start posting some pictures of this year's adventure. Right now there's nothing on there except last year's adventure, so if you haven't seen that or you'd like to see it again, you can see those on there. But soon we'll have pictures from this year's trip as well. Once again, thanks for watching.